All right, we're back here again with another M12 draft. And looking at this opening pack, Soren's Vengeance is a very, very good card. The next best card is quite clearly Incinerate and probably Bell Tower Sphinx. Like, this is the kind of card that you can build a deck around and just end up winning the game with. It, gets you back if you're behind. You can allow your Tormented Souls to just finish them off. And it just wins the game if you're ahead. I'm honestly not sure exactly its power level. Like, it could be that something like Incinerate or Doomblade is just slightly better than it. But since it's rare and you don't get to play with it very often and it's so strong, I think I am just going to take it. So it looks like I'll wheel something from this pack. It's probably going to be something like a Disentomb, like maybe the Arsonist. Yeah. Oh, wow. I got past the Phantasmal Image, which I don't think is worth all that much anymore, but we'll look really fast. And still selling for 3 tickets. Yeah, here obviously the two best black cards are the Ring Flesh and Soul, with Ring Flesh being a bit better. It looks like they took a common. What it could be, I'm not sure. Probably something like a Lawkeeper, aforementioned red card. With the power level of these not being amazing, and Phantasmal Image being worth 3 tickets, and actually being okay in this format, like you can copy some interesting things. I think I might just go ahead and take the image here and see what I end up getting past. Well, in this pack, I think Looter is just the best card. Diabolic Tutor really isn't much of a card, unless you have something like Vengeance. Like, we might be happy to get Tutor to wheel if it comes around. Drifting Shade's also decent if you're going to be going mono black. Could be an option here. But I think Phantasmal Image is okay. He's strong enough, and the fact that we see a Looter here and a Skywind Drake here in the last pack had several, though not incredibly strong, but it had several blue cards. It means the guy might not be that interested in drafting blue and is just passing to us. You'll notice here there is a common and an uncommon missing. Again, probably some kind of white card. Like, he probably noticed that he has not passed a white card in the last 2 packs and is looking in that direction. I think Throne of Empires is an extremely strong card. Like, it works well with something like Vengeance, where you just want to have a little bit of defense building up to a lot of lands to win the game. It also can make a swarm of little guys that can get through to ping them with that amount of damage, just to put them down to 10 life. Gravedigger, also an extremely good card, especially things like Looter and Image in a blue-black type control deck. Right now, though, I think I just take Throne of Empires. I think it's that much stronger than Gravedigger that it's worth taking. Even though it obviously doesn't throw a great color signal that I've passed 2 black cards when I took Image, and now I'm passing Gravedigger. And again, we notice that there isn't much red, isn't much white. Yeah, black is definitely open here. I think one of these speedy black creatures is just going to be better, and we're going to be looking at black-blue control. Onyx Mage combos pretty well with the Throne of Empires. I think it might be the most powerful card. Like, Chasm Drake's good, but like we might be wheeling one of these. Yeah, we might be wheeling one of these black cards too. Sadly, probably end up being like a Spirit Link, Mighty Leaper Forest that comes back, but it's always possible we could get one of these other cards. I think I'm just going to go ahead and take the Onyx Mage here because of how it combos with Empires, and just build up a stronger early game. Yeah, there's not much here. Like, Swift Foot Boots isn't that great of a card. It does not combo with Images. I guess we could go ahead and take a Mesmerist and somehow maybe end up in Mill if I open something crazy. And I don't think I have any interest in playing any of these other cards right now. Interesting, another Mesmerist. I mean, I guess mill could be an option for us. Cancel something that is okay, like especially if you know they have Sorin's Vengeance. It's often a little too slow for this format, but having one of isn't that horrible. That being said, there's plenty of opportunities to get cancels. Like if we end up going with some kind of bizarre mill strategy, then the Mesmerist is going to just be better. Resummon Skeleton or Dusk Hunter Bats. Yeah, both. I think the Skeleton's the stronger card now that we have an Onyx Mage. And it looks like we have some mill cards. Yeah, I think I'm just going to take the Skeleton. And in fact, it works pretty good with the Looter, because you can just loot him as one of your first cards that you discard. Yeah, he just combos very well with the cards in this deck. Dusk Hunter Bat is good, but fits more in a black-red theme. Divination is, I think, going to quite clearly be the pick here. And yeah, I think, I mean, there could be arguments for taking something like Distress again, because it works kind of like a cancel, but in the other way, like it's more proactive than reactive. In fact, there could be an argument for taking Master Thief, since I currently don't have a way to kill it and it can steal my empires. But I think Manolith is just going to be better to help us get mana for Vengeance. And wow, here's the Tutor back. I think we take the Tutor. Right now, these are decent Tutor targets. We have a fairly defensive deck. We might even be looking at that mill strategy, which requires slight combo. Brink of Disaster is not bad in a mill type strategy either, since if we're not going to be swinging in, we don't really care if they have to sit back and block. We're just going to take the Distress here. Might as well just hate a Mighty Leap. And I guess I'll just hate a Fog. I could send the Fog for a signal, I guess, since it's going to be irrelevant, but I don't think that's really necessary. I'm probably not playing Distress main deck. It's just often, I think it's a little too slow to main deck, so I'm hiding it for now, though it's in my mind that it's actually there. Alright, this pack really doesn't have very much for us. In fact, it's a pretty weak pack overall. I could see an argument for taking the Phantasmal Bear over the Bloodseeker, but I think the Bloodseeker is just a little bit more reliable. Like right now, we could drift away from mill, obviously, unless you get some really good cards. Like we'd need a Mind Unbound, Jace's Erasure, Archivist, something like that to put it all together, as you saw at the end of the last draft what that guy had. I think, like, if we take the Bloodseeker, we're probably not going to wheel anything from this pack because it's so shallow. Though it is possible we wheel, like, the Bear, and it is possible we wheel the Ponder. But yeah, then again, like, both of those cards, not exceptional. I think Seeker's just going to be the best pick for us overall here. And Sengir Vampire is quite clearly going to be the best pick for us here. They took an uncommon. They could easily be playing blue or black based on, as I said, because we, picked Phantasmal Image over some things. But I think, yeah, and we're probably going to end up being shipped a lot of red, considering that we passed so little of it. Same with white. But yeah, I think Sengir here is obviously an easy pick. And hopefully we wheel something like Ring Flesh or possibly, quite possibly, the Erasure. I doubt the Ring Flesh will come back. Aether Adept is a very welcome card in both strategies if we chose to go mill or not. It works very well with Phantasmal Image. Just allows you to put up a lot of pressure copying that Adept on turn 4 after you've done it on turn 3. We might get, again, like Frost Breath, Harbor Serpent might come back. This pack isn't especially, well, I guess it is deep since there's already been some cards picked out of it, one being a rare. It would be interesting if we took the Scepter here, since it would be quite possible to assemble the full set. And this is kind of where our deck, we really need to figure out, like, if we want Tormented Soul or Cutthroat, if we want to figure out what we want to be doing. Right now, it really looks like we might rather have something like Cutthroat. We have a lot of defensive guys with the Skeleton, the Looter, kind of basically just slowly pinging them. Or sorry, slowly controlling the game and then winning with like the Sengir Vampire. Or just slow rot from the Seeker or the Mill. I think Cutthroat might be better for our deck at this particular point in time. We don't have a lot of later drops. And it really helps us set up our defense. So I'm going to go ahead and take it. The thing is, the Soul is good against us, both the Artifact and the Soul. And interesting, here's another Mesmerist. We really might go for a mill strategy and just see how it works out with that many Mesmerists. I'm quite possible I might even wheel these Flash Freezes, which are kind of nice as a sideboard card. Yeah, I'm taking Mesmerist here. There's no reason to have 2 tutors. Well, Chasm Drake is a decent, solid card. Here's the sideboard card versus. I already have 1 Manalith. I don't think I'd ever consider playing another. I might not even consider playing one here. Like, with this many 2-drops, I don't know how advantageous it's going to be to actually ramp up on turn 3 to Chasm Drake or Sengir. Right here, I think I might just go ahead and take the Scepter. It doesn't really fit in my deck, but it's something that's good against us. Coral Merfolk just isn't going to be played in my deck. And again, Manalith, probably not going to be played. I think the Scepter is just going to be okay. If we choose to ultimately go with the mill strategy, as I said before, Brink is a fine card. I'm going to take it. Yeah, we didn't really wheel anything, the Ponder, the Mind Rot, or the Phantasmal Bear from this pack. The Colossus is playable. Might actually be our pick. I don't think I'm too worried about Autumn's Veil. Like, Colossus is a lot of head damage with Sorin's Vengeance, so yeah, I think I'm just going to grab it. Something we can actually really use. And here is the Jace's Erasure. So, yeah, we do have the option to go mill, based on what I've gotten here. Another Scepter came back. We also have the option of going, just plink them to death. I've never done a mill strategy, so it could be interesting to try that out. Yeah, we'll just see what the next pack does in terms of shaping our deck, and we'll either decide to go mill or not. I mean, we're not going to be short on playables either way. We basically, like right now, if we went mill, we'd have 22 cards already. We'd probably not want to play Scepters if we were going mill. And like if we were going other regular strategy, we would not want to play Brink. And this pack is just absolutely terrible for us. Wow. Like, I don't really see an argument for splashing anything. We do have a Manalith, but other than that, like, we don't really have any mana fixers. We do have a little bit of card draw. We do have Looter to discard. Like, so we could take, you know, conceivably Incinerate or Pacifism, hope to get like red-black duel, blue-white duel, etc. Like, I don't know if I'd be playing Blood Rage Vampire. I guess if I don't go the mill strategy, I've got 2 Scepters, like Vampires, fine. So, Negate is always good to have, you know, at least one of. We actually haven't picked up our Counterspell. But I don't really like even picking a Negate over a Vampire. Like, if we didn't go the mill strategy, I'd rather just start with the Vampire. I mean, we could hate something like the Overrun, just so we don't lose to it, but I think it's just better to go with the creature to build our deck for now, even though this is not the greatest creature. And now this pack is incredibly deep for us with Adept. I think we have to take Sengir here. Like, it's just that strong of a card. Adept is an incredibly strong card as well. The interesting thing about, like, if I took Adept, I'm probably wheeling a black card for sure, and these are all decent black cards. The Vampire being probably the weakest. If I take Sengir, I still might wheel one of these black cards. Probably the Vampire. It's funny that I'm going to wheel what I just had to first pick last pack. And it's also possible Alluring Siren comes back. Alluring Siren isn't terrible. It functions with Brink of Disaster, functions with Onyx Mage, Skeletons, things like that. Yeah, just seeing the Sengir makes me not want to go with the mill strategy because my deck is a little bit stronger. I mean, it has ways to finish people off. But again, we'll see. And now we're back to a pack that's kind of weak for us. I think Frost Breath is actually good in both the mill strategy and the regular strategy. Of just actually killing your opponent. Like, it buys you the time you need to mill him out. And it also buys you the time you need to finish them off with your big flyers. Ice Cage, while an okay card, I just don't find to be that great and not better than Frost Breath. It's pretty easy to sideboard and get solid advantage from this with things like Mighty Leap. Well, Soren's Thirst here. We're extremely short on removal, so glad to see a Soren's Thirst. Like that was so, and this is like the biggest gift I've ever seen. I guess nobody's playing black that way. Works perfectly with Merfolk Looter. Yeah, I don't like this card. Is just nuts. Wow. Okay, and there's also an Outrage. I don't know what happened with this last pack that we just got hooked up. Okay. Well, I'm gonna hide the mill stuff because we have a fairly solid deck without running the mill. Turns out that I'd probably rather have the other thing instead of Amph and Cutthroat. I might not be playing the Cutthroat now. I'd rather have Tormented Soul here. Though if I took Soul, I might not have a Scepter, and they're both similar cards. When you already had a Throne, that kind of made Scepter maybe the better choice anyway. This is debatable between Unsummon and Blood Rage Vampire. Like, I have very little removal. You know, I'm going to just take the Unsummon. Like, my reason for that is that I just don't have a lot of removal. And right now, I already have a Vampire, and my 3-drop slot is kind of full. Like, I think I'd rather play Vampire than something like Cutthroat, but as I said, like, our removal is Soren's Thirst, Aether Adept, Phantasmal Imaging Adept, and then this Unsummon. I think it's just better to have some kind of protection against other mind controls, things like that. That being said, I think Devouring Storm is an okay card, but I'm just going to take Consume Spirit. We're going to need a little bit more removal here. We don't even have anything in the sideboard like Death Marks. Here's the one cancel we probably want to pick up at this point. Smallpox isn't bad in our deck. I mean, we have Reassembling Skeleton, we have Pharaoh. Like, we really do break the synergy of that. We have Throne of Empires, but I think overall... Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and take the cancel. I think that might have been an incorrect pick. I haven't really played with Smallpox. And this deck does break the synergy on it, so it's quite possible we would end up playing it, but at the moment I am hesitant to test it out. Like, part of me that just thinks that it's not going to be the most amazing card. Alright, here, Lurking Crocodile. Well, actually, Mana Vandal's probably going to be strong against this. I'm just going to go ahead and take that. We have so many artifacts. And look at this. Is nobody drafting black? Those are the 3 black cards. As much as I like having the extra flyer here, I think it's better to just have the Ring Flesh, because again, we have no removal. That's pretty incredible that those 3 wheeled. The Aether Adept was the thing that was taken from that pack, and the Alluring Siren. That would have been other options for my deck. Here I'm just going to take the Disentomb. It's not horrible. Just going to randomly draft the rest. And it's Circle of Flame, as you saw.